A man has many skins in himself, covering the depths of his heart. Man knows so many things. He does not know himself. Why, 30 or 40 skins or hides, just like an ox's or bear's, so thick and hard, cover the soul. Go into your own ground and learn to know yourself there. Meister Eckhart. It is often tragic to see how blatantly a man bungles his own life and the lives of others, yet remains totally incapable of seeing how much the whole tragedy originates in himself, and how he continually feeds it and keeps it going. Not consciously, of course, for consciously he is engaged in bewailing a faithless world that recedes further and further into the distance. Rather, it is an unconscious factor which spins the illusions that veil his world. Carl Jung. We begin part 1 with an excerpt of one of the guide's earliest lectures. The lecture concerns happiness, noting that it is something that we all long for, while tending to blame outer circumstances for any feelings of unhappiness that we may have. The guide immediately sets forth the doctrine of self-responsibility. The spiritually immature person thinks that happiness has to be created outside first, that outer circumstances, not necessarily dependent on him, have to fit his wishes, and then inner happiness will follow. The spiritually mature knows that is exactly the other way around. And happiness does not depend on outer circumstances and other people, no matter how convinced the spiritually immature person may be of this fallacy. The spiritually mature person knows he himself is capable of creating a happy life, not only first within himself, but as an inevitable result of this, also without. This doctrine is the first foundation stone upon which the Pathwork method of self-transformation is based. The guide states that it is not required that one believe this in order to begin doing the work, but it is necessary that one at least open one's mind to the possibility that this could be true. Toward this idea, as toward many others that will follow, we are urged to put aside old certainties and open our minds to new possibilities. This path does not require that we believe any specific dogmas or subscribe to any creeds. Rather, we are given ideas and methods to try, to work with, to put into practice. If the method works, we will know it by the results. If the idea bear fruit, if they help us to understand ourselves better and live more happily and productively, then they will become truly ours. They will be known, not just believed. The first key to happiness, says the guide, is self-knowledge. This would seem to be an uncontroversial statement. Surely all educated people would agree that self-knowledge is invaluable. But why then is it so difficult to attain? Perhaps because no one likes to hear unpleasant or unflattering truths about oneself, and yet these are the most important ones to know. The lectures that follow in part 1 point out how important it is for us to know all those parts of ourselves which we prefer to overlook and forget. In Jungian psychology, the term shadow is used to describe that part of ourselves that we prefer not to carry in our conscious mind, that we push into the darkness and hope to forget. In the Pathwork system, this complex of character flaws and negativities are termed the lower self. Hiding the lower self is a masked self, an idealized self-image, a glorified picture of who we think we ought to be and try to pretend that we are. The beginning stages of the Pathwork focus primarily on learning how to penetrate the masked self, and then how to become aware of the lower self that hides beneath it. For it is these two layers of the personality that hide the higher self, that spark of inner divinity that is at the core of each of us. The early lectures urges us to fearlessly probe these parts of ourselves that we most wish to hide, and give us practical tools for doing this work. We learn first how to see and evaluate our everyday activities and emotions, material which is fully conscious and only awaits our turning our full attention to it. Then we learn how to detect our subconscious thoughts, feelings, and attitudes. Amazing things will be found. Prepare to be surprised. DT.